In the last video, we saw how a simple discovery led to the birth of agriculture, which in turn really changed all our lives in terms of what we do, how we get food. In this video, let's look at all the steps that are involved when we start with a seed to a fully grown ripe fruit or a vegetable. We will do this by taking a simple example of how do we grow a tomato in our own home. So it all started probably 5 months back when I was eating this tomato salad, and it was extremely delicious. So I liked it so much that I decided, okay, I want more of these exact same tomatoes, and that's where the whole journey began. So I started off by cutting very thin slices of tomatoes so that I can get the seeds out. So once I did this, I had to go and find a good piece of land. Much like how we need a good home, I'm sure the tomato plant needed a good home. So I went to my backyard, found a good piece of land which was well lit. Once I found such a piece of land, I dug a small hole and then I planted the thin tomato slices which contained the seeds, closed the hole. So once this was done, the tomato plant now has a good home. What's next? So much like us, I'm sure the plant needs food, so it needs nutrients. For this, I added some food waste, so like onion peels, garlic peels and things like that from my kitchen. So these food wastes actually decompose and are turned into nutrients for the plant. So once I was done with this, I regularly started watering the plant. About 5 days went by when nothing happened really, and I was wondering, oh, what's going on? But at 5th day, that's when I saw the first tiny tomato sapling come up. And after that point, it was really exciting because every single day, the tomato plant started growing more and more. Like you would see new leaves come up, the stem used to grow taller. It was really exciting. If you had grown a plant, I'm sure you'd go through those exciting phases as well. I think at about 10 days or so, the plants were of a decent size when my dog almost trampled on top of the plant, almost spoiling the whole thing. So obviously, to protect the plant from any such further attacks, I put a small fence around it. At this point, I was just protecting the plant from any other pests. So after this, I continued to water the plants. It kept growing larger and larger, and at about 3 months or so is when the plant had all the fully grown ripe tomatoes. So this was the moment I was waiting for, when I could get to re-enjoy that tomato which I had eaten almost 3 months back. So I harvested all of them. I plucked the tomatoes from the plant. I made all kinds of delicious dishes. I was still left with a whole bag full of tomatoes. So I then went and stored this in my fridge for later use. So these are the steps. These might look really simple, right? But these are exactly the steps a farmer would follow to grow crops. So let's do a quick recap, and then in subsequent videos we will dive into each one, and then we will look at the challenges when each one of these go large scale. So we started with preparing the soil. Once the soil is prepared, we actually sowed the seeds. Then we added nutrients in the form of food waste. Then we continuously watered the plant, and we also protected it from pests, insects, weeds, etc. And once it was ripe enough, we harvested the fruits, in this case the vegetables, tomatoes. And finally, the excess harvest that we had, we stored it for later use. So I hope you join me in the next few videos where we will explore each one of the steps and look at why we do it, and on top of that, how it's done on a large scale.